Hey guys, Jasper back here again with your weekly sound design tutorial, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a plugin review of a plugin that is free for a limited period of time. I found out of it recently. I think it's really cool. Definitely going to use it in some of my tracks, and I think you might find it useful as well. So without further ado, this plugin is Balancer by Sonible. And what it is it's a match EQ with predefined curves. So what a match EQ is it analyzes your audio and compares it to some theoretical reference audio and figures out how the EQ profile of your audio differs from the ideal profile and adjusts your EQ profile of your audio automatically to match. So this can be really useful for fixing balance problems. There are times that if you have an EQ, a piece of audio that really needs EQing, this will allow you to do it automatically without any effort yourself. You can kind of use it in the same way that you use OTT for basically spectral balancing, which can be useful in mastering. It can be useful on any individual source material. Pretty useful plugin overall, and I would definitely recommend picking it up while it's free until May 4th. So here's let's go over a couple of examples of what this can be useful on. So first of all, I have a guitar sound. This is just a guitar sound I recorded myself for one of my tracks. And perfectly dry, it sounds like this. So here's how Balancer works. We're going to call it up on this audio, and we are going to play the audio and hit learn. And I think the universal algorithm sounds pretty damn good on this. What it looks like it's doing, there's a little bit of a spectrum analyzer at the bottom here, but it's adding a little bit of highs and a little bit of lows, which in this case I like. It's adding a little bit of chunkiness to this sound, as well as adding a little bit of more brightness to the electric guitar sound that otherwise was pretty mid-heavy. So it kind of has a similar function to OTT, as I mentioned. You can use it for kind of overall spectral balancing, but it's a lot cleaner than OTT would have been. OTT would probably amplify some noise in the background, whereas this doesn't. So I think it's pretty great for these purposes. Definitely good for guitar sounds. Here's an a cappella vocal sound that we could also use it on. With this, I think probably using a specific vocal algorithm would be good rather than a universal algorithm. Let's hear what this sounds like just by itself and train it. Didn't mean to hurt you when I hurt myself. It's just an empty voice screaming out for help. So this is adding a little bit of high mids here and maybe taking away the sibilance, which is nice. This is, I'll A-B it here. Didn't mean to hurt you when I hurt myself. So it's definitely adding a lot of presence and making the vocal, which probably isn't EQ'd ideally, a lot fuller and giving it a lot more presence in the ranges that we like. Again, kind of similar to OTT, but more suitable for purposes like this. And finally, I'm going to do an extreme example of let's say that you have a piece of audio that for some reason has a totally warped and mangled EQ profile, as in unsalvageable. Such as, I took my track Spectrum that I released quite recently, and I threw this EQ8 on it that you see down at the left here. Totally warped and mangled the sound. Here's the drop of Spectrum without EQ. Here's it with the Mangler EQ. So obviously, it sounds terrible right now, but what we can do is if we just throw one balancer on here, we very quickly begin to get something approaching the original sound, actually, which is pretty cool. Here's it with one balancer, and here's it with no balancer. And interestingly, like OTT, we can actually stack this more and more times to get it to sound even closer to the original. So here's, I just Command D duplicated the balancer on this track a couple of more times, and here's what it sounds like with 4 balancers. In my opinion, that sounds pretty damn close to the original track. We'll A-B it with the Mangler EQ and the balancers versus totally dry. Obviously still a little bit different, but considering that we basically chopped off everything after about 8K or so, definitely improves it a lot. So this can really work wonders on any type of audio that you recorded in a suboptimal room. Maybe think if you are using a cheap mic or something like that, it could really help that type of audio, making it sound full spectrum and nice. So hope this was useful for you. Would recommend checking out the balancer on the Sonible site. I'll leave a link in the description. Please do check it out and let me know in the comments if the plugin review format is something that you find helpful. Thanks a lot.